In less than a year from now, Nigerians will be heading to yet another general election. The atmosphere is rife with the usual election propaganda. The country has a sitting president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who will be running on the All Progressive Congress ticket as the incumbent for a second term in office. After 27 years of uninterrupted democracy, Nigeria could boast of its democratic ethos having become matured and robust. This boast is, however, lost in the light of much allegations that are trailing the Tinubu presidency. Some people have labeled this state capture. The idea is that while the incumbent president has become quite unpopular and would naturally lose an election if one were to be conducted today, the president has not been sitting pretty in Aso Rock. Bola Tinubu appears to have been spending most of his time in office, bringing relevant institutions of the country under his purview, such that will allow him to sail easily back into office. There are allegations that the Nigerian judiciary is quite sympathetic to the presidency. Recently, a video surfaced where Nigerian judges appear to have joined supporters of the president in a conference to sing "On Your Mandate we shall stand," Bola. The situation is not any different with the security apparatuses around the country. Historically, all agencies of security are under the powers of the president. And while this is normal for any working democracy, it, it becomes a thing of concern for a nation whose president is being accused of wishing to perpetuate himself in public office. Also recently, efforts were made to bring changes to the electoral system, where the word transmission became quite debatable in the public space. The president signed that document with dispatch, giving INEC the liberty to use or not to use the IREV system that is supposed to safeguard the votes of the Nigerian people. Former INEC official Dr. Mike Igini called the document Tinubu signed the worst electoral bill this country has ever had. All appears cast in gold to give Tinubu a second term in office. In fact, there are those who argue that if changes to the electoral laws could be easily done, there's nothing stopping Tinubu from giving himself a third term in office. The situation in the opposition parties is even worse. As we speak, there are no opposition parties in the country. The PDP, which ought to offer credible opposition to the government in power, has gone silent. Of the 12 PDP governors this political dispensation started with in 2023, only 6 are left. Within the PDP, there is continual infighting, with former Governor Wike acting as a mole within the party. The ADC, which was recently formed, has also come under the censoring of INEC. They are presently in court and may be spending more time battling legal issues than sorting out the political matters for the forthcoming election. Some have suggested that Bola Tinubu has a history of capturing states, and they propose Lagos State as a case in point. Since he led Lagos State between 1999 and 2007, no one has led that state without his express permission or blessing. There is one estate of the realm that Bola Tinubu has not captured, and that estate is public opinion or the independent media. One of such people in this estate is Dr. Festus Adedayo, who is our guest in today's broadcast. In his article titled "The President's Psychological Punishing Jokes," published in the Nigerian Tribune of today, Sunday, the 19th April 2026, Dr. Adedayo warns against President Tinubu capturing the Nigerian states. He wrote, and I quote, "If the ambience of Aso Rock has ostracized the president from reality, let us tell him what obtains in the Nigerian world. Between 2023 and now, Nigerian litigants have been drawn to a frustrating juncture remnants of the Bola Ige Sidon look. Believability in the courts as a place of justice has waned irretrievably. Either real or contrived, the general belief is that this government state capture has extended from the executive to the legislative and onto the judiciary. Indeed, the belief is that Asorok, having cleverly built mansions for judges, dictates judgments to them over cognate. This is frightening. As we speak, there is a total state capture in Nigeria, which the international community will keep mum only at its international peril. The way it is, only a man donning the Digi Bola, that is the Tinubu glasses, will be on the ballot. ADC will be on the ballot, but represented either by Dumebi Kachuku or Bala Gombe. Omoyele Showore will be there also, and some characters in the Labour Party. PDP too will be on the parade. If it is not Yesom Wike, it will be some other nameless hireling. That is what the president means by being a Democrat, his newest definition of multi-partyism. Interestingly, like I've mentioned earlier on, Dr. Festus Adedayo is with us today on the program, and I just want to bring him on. Thank you very much, sir, for joining our broadcast.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Let me quickly put this. Yes. So I'm going to introduce Dr. Festus properly before I go into the question and answers. I'm not sure we'll spend too much time, but let me just introduce him. He's, let me say, the biggest personality we have had on Text and Publishing Religion, and we are really, really privileged to have him. So this is his profile. Festus Adedayo was born in Akure, Ondo State. In 1988, he gained admission to the University of Lagos and graduated in 1992 with a Bachelor of Arts, second-class upper degree in philosophy. He also earned an MSc from the Department of Political Science, University of Ibadan in 1995. He was employed as a senior reporter by the African Newspaper of Nigeria, ANN PLC, that is the publishers of the Tribune newspapers, in 1995. In 1997, he worked for a weekly newspaper called Omega Weekly as assistant editor. After about a year of operations, he returned to the Tribune in 1998 and was promoted features editor of the newspaper in the year 1999. In the year 2000, Adedayo was promoted deputy editor and editorial page editor of the Tribune titles. He left the Tribune in 2003 for a political appointment as special advisor on media to the governor of Enugu State. In 2008, he was appointed chairman, editorial board of the now defunct National Life newspaper in Lagos. Adedayo began a doctoral program in the Department of Political Science, University of Ibadan in 2000, and completed a thesis entitled Hegemony and the Newspaper Press, a study of the Nigerian Tribune from 1949 to 1993, leading to the award of a PhD in political communication in 2011. In 2013, Adedayo returned to the Faculty of Law, University of Ibadan, for an undergraduate program and graduated in 2017 with an LLB, second-class upper division. He was subsequently called to the Nigerian bar in 2019. Between 2011 and 2015, Adedayo first served as senior special assistant public communication to Governor Abiola Ajimobi of Oyo State and was elevated a couple of months later as special advisor on media. He left government in 2015 and resumed his weekly interventions as issues of contemporary society in the Sunday Tribune, which till date received syndicate in cable newspaper, premium times, and so on. The interventions also appear in many other online media outlets. In 2020, Adedayo authored the biography of Ayinla Omowura, an African popular music icon who was killed in a barroom brawl in Abeokuta, Ogun State in 1980. The book, entitled Ayinla Omowura, Life and Times of an Apala Legend, 2020, became an instant success. In 2019, Adedayo was appointed special advisor on media to the Nigerian then Senate President Ahmed Lawan, an appointment that was botched almost immediately. In years of his writing and journalism practice, Adedayo carved a renown for himself in the Nigerian public sphere as a public commentator with disdain for injustice and social order and social disorder. In 2024, Adedayo concluded a master's degree and LLM in the Faculty of Law, University of Ibadan. For recreation, Adedayo plays squash and he's married with children. Dr. Festus, thank you very much for joining our broadcast this evening. We are very, very grateful.
It's a great pleasure to be here this afternoon. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we are actually going to be talking about state capture. You've written a lot about it on it. I read your articles every Sunday when you send them to me, and the ones that are also published online. You know, and there is I don't know, maybe out of 3 or 4 articles you publish, there is always one that you write on the Nigerian situation, especially with the presidency. And you have been warning against the state capture thing over and over again. Now, I expect that you are prepared to answer questions on state capture. But there's one question that I want to ask, and I hope I'm not putting you too much on the spot for it. I want to ask, sir, how is your father and your mother?
Oh. Once again, thank you for having me on your program. My parents are late. My dad passed in 2010, and my mom passed in 2023, November.
Okay.
So I'm an orphan.
The reason why
I can be
asked the question,
by anybody who wants to adopt me.
All right, sir. We thank God for the work they did, and we pray that the heavens will bless their memory. The reason why I asked that question is because I came across one story. I'm not sure whether you were the one that wrote it, but you spoke about a man and a woman who lost their son in Ecomog, you know, their last born.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned it was your parent. I don't know whether they were the one.
Yes. It was my younger brother. His name was Festus Adedayo, who joined the Nigerian army out of frustration. Finished school and didn't have a job. And so I was there in Ibadan in the Nigerian Tribune. My father hid the information from me because he knew that I would not have allowed my brother to join the army. Well, the only thing I heard was a call from him that he was in Sokoto and I've joined the army. 6 months after I joined the army, they were taken to Sierra Leone, to Freetown. And from that moment till of his death, it was a moment of travel. We were lucky that I think that should be in 1998 December or thereabout. He came to me in June. And, we didn't know he was saying bye. And a few weeks after, he received a letter by post from the army that my brother was missing in action. A mail. That was how they announced. A mail from the post office. That was how they announced my father and my brother. So as his next of kin, I speak to you. We haven't collected time.
Oh no.
At some point, I to collect, to ask for whatever was due to him because he had a daughter. But and I left it. the agony that my parents to their graves
because
over
of
his
them.
departure.
Yeah, I mean that story.
So
I mean,
that's
every
it.
time
That's
I
the
read the
story.
article, that story pops. Yeah, it pops to my mind. And when we talk about Nigeria happening to people, everybody tend to have their story. So sometimes when you write whatever you write, there's something underneath. I cannot understand. Sir.
Yeah.
I just it appears that our internet is not. Well, I'm sure he will be back.
Especially, when I read
Mm.
of death in action of soldiers, of Nigerian soldiers. Can you hear?
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. Although the network is not very good, but we'll work with it. So let me apologize to the viewers. The network from Dr. Festus' side is not too very good, but I'm very sure he will try to reconnect with us. I've asked for him. I just asked the question concerning his family, and he spoke about how he lost his brother just 6 months after joining the army. They went to Ecomog. That was in 1998, and he died in action. And that is I suspect he's still trying to reach us, and there's a lot we really want to talk about today. Please just hang on with us. I'm sure he'll be back. All right. So pending when it comes, this always a challenge with the internet connections. Pending when he comes back, we'll just try to. Maybe I can. I can't read that again. Hold on. Okay. Welcome back, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. I can hear you now.
Uh, Sorry, don't know what happened.
Yeah,
Can you
it's the
hear me
network.
now?
It's the challenge with interviews like this.
So, as I was
I can hear
saying,
you, sir.
each time I see how stories of military men, so each time I hear of the death about that day when I received that message from the Nigerian army that my brother had passed. And it was even more tormenting that I had to go back home to Akure. And the death of my father, my brother. I remember what I did was having to. I remember that day I got to. Father looked at me. He said, you look sad. What's the problem?" I said, "No problem. I'm fine." He said, "No, no, no." So I left. I went to look for his sisters, brothers, all of them. The moment they appeared in our compound, I said, "My son is dead." And it was a tormenting night. I remember how my father was trying to day, even through the night, by top of them.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the network is not kind to us at all. It's not kind. Doctor, do you mind if I shut this down and call you back? Let me call you, sir. I'll just end the stream. I'll call
Yes.
you, sir. Yes.